Hello, everybody, and welcome to 38 Weeks to Go, your weekly podcast about fantasy football. I am your host, Nash, and let's get into it. I am recording from a different location today, so I hope that the audio will be fine. Bear with me, guys. Thank you. I am going to do it in a different format, so let me know what you guys think about this episode. So, I'm going to start off with the biggest headlines. This was a bit of a disappointing week, mainly because a lot of us brought in Son, some of us even captained him, some of us even triple captained him. Nine if you triple captained him. sorry, Polisana. Son was the most brought in player this week, and the second most captained player. He had 6 goals in his previous 4 outings, so everyone thought, okay, those were Liverpool, Arsenal, those were tough games. Surely Luton's going to be a battering. That red card didn't help. Oh, what a disappointing game for Tottenham. Well, they won, but from a fantasy perspective. If you had Maddison, well done. That guy still provides assists. He's doing his job. Richarlison was so wasteful. I hope you don't have him in your teams, and I hope you're not so keen to bring him back. I'm wondering now if I'm regretting Son already, although I brought him in for Rashford. For those of us who captained Erling Haaland, you know I'm included in that. We're together. Remember, I gave you guys my theory. This boy disappears in big games and also big defenders. He had no shots in this game, no shots on target. In our group, number 1, Mr. Leon Mortier, manager of Why Are You Running? Captain the Egyptian king, Salah, and was handsomely rewarded. He has opened up a gap and he goes into the international break with a healthy lead. He got 72 points and he is our leader this time, both for points tally and league points. It hasn't been done since Gameweek 1 and 2. Let me just put this into perspective. Son was in the all-time most transferred in players, number 5. All-time. Number 1 is Cristiano Ronaldo in 21-22, Son in 2021, Salah in 22-23, Salah in 21-22, and Son in 23-24 with 1.4 million. When Ronaldo was brought in, 2.2 million people brought him on. Apparently, when you are the most transferred in player in a game week, you tend to underperform. Son has continued this trend. To frame our captaincy situation better, 39.7% of all managers chose Haaland to be their captain, and 32.4% chose Son. Salah was chosen by only 8%. So you can see how much of a differential that was. There were a few injuries. The most notable injury was Saka. Saka did not play. A lot of us thought that he would make it for the match, but it was not meant to be. And it seems like they did not need him anyway. Trossard picked up a hamstring injury in that game, and Saliba has been withdrawn from the France squad. So let's see how he recovers from that. Sheffield lost Chris Basham to a horrific ankle injury. We hope he gets well soon. It didn't look nice. Our boy, Awoniyi, did not play. Jordan Bayer did not play. Flecken, Brentford's keeper, also did not play. That was a surprise. And then that left Strakosha to play. Strakosha, who is 3.9, came on. He did a good job, but then he got those 2 goals conceded by McTominay. Isak also asked to be pulled out of the game. It seems like he's been injured as well. Wilson replaced him, and Wilson, as you all know, that man is so fragile. So it'll be interesting to see what they do up front. There was another theme. The lesser players, and by that I just mean the cheaper players, were the key differentials this week. Starting with Cole Palmer, 4.9. He had a goal and an assist. He took the penalty. Enzo missed the last one. And so, since he made this, he might be Chelsea's new penalty taker. I was really surprised when it wasn't Sterling who was given that chance. Barring some Pep-like rotation, maybe Cole Palmer will be here to stay on the wing. Then again, Chelsea have many injuries, so that's also probably why he's playing. But for now, until everybody's back, he's in there. He might be somebody you're looking to bring into your team. Neto from Wolves and Hwang. Those two can't stop assisting and or scoring. Neto with assist for Hwang. Hwang has scored, I think, in 6 consecutive games. Pedro Neto has recorded his 6th assist this season. A few weeks ago, I talked about Ghana and how I thought he was impressive. His goal finally came. Also, Everton finally took advantage of that XG and won. Doucouré is always present when something good happens to Everton. Hwang has scored 5 goals. Jensen scored his 3rd goal of the season against Man U. And he's a top-performing midfielder under 6.0. Somebody who's flying under the radar is the man who scored against Newcastle for West Ham, Thomas Susek. There was a season where he'd always pop up with a goal or two, and it seems that things are beginning to fall for him. So watch that space. Also, my boy Sufal, another assist, and he almost won that game at the death. So don't sleep on that boy. That's his 3rd assist in a row. Okay, let's look at the games. Luton 0, Spurs 1. I'm not sure how many of you watched that game, but 1-0 is the kindest result Luton could have hoped for. They deserved nothing from that game, and they got nothing, except they look better. Spurs had so many chances in the first half. Before they got the red card, they were immense. James Maddison created 4 chances, and he provided the assist for the only goal of the game. He has played 5 away matches and returned 5 assists and 2 goals. So, if you're looking into Spurs, he's your man. Don't look any further. I had Udoji from this team, and he was good. If you're looking to get a defender from this team, get Poro. He really goes forward, and he missed a golden chance from Son, and he will keep finding himself in that position. He's kind of like Matty Cash. This was the first time this season that Spurs have failed to score 2 or more goals. Burnley 1, Chelsea 4. If you guys remember, I told you that Chelsea were due a good game. They play well, it's just the end result that fails them. Well, this game started poorly, but ended really well for Chelsea. Believe it or not, Nicholas Jackson scored. I was shocked. I almost threw my remote at the TV. Like, why now? Why? Sterling was at the heart of everything good that happened for Chelsea. He had a goal and 2 assists. Sterling had a goal, Palmer had a goal, Nicholas Jackson had a goal, and the 4th was an own goal, although the 4th was the first. Odegaard was a goal scorer for Burnley. Sterling had 3 bonus points, Palmer had 2, and Nicholas Jackson had 1. Everton 3, Bournemouth 0. If you remember, I had previously said that Everton create chances, they just can't finish. Well, they created chances and they finished. Jack Harrison was a great addition back to the lineup. He just seemed to bring more life to everything they were doing. It looked like he was the missing piece. He has brought some luck, and maybe they can capitalize on this. Everton have now scored 5 goals from set pieces this season, and they're the leader. McNeil created the most chances, and he was also really unlucky that they missed the chances that he created. Everton could have really hammered those guys. Like I said a bit earlier, Doucouré is always involved in good things that happen with Everton. He was a goal scorer, Garner was a goal scorer, and Harrison was a goal scorer. For those of you who have Pickford, hey, well done for holding on. He has finally come through. Harrison, 3 bonus points. Pickford, 2 bonus points. And for you Tarkowski people, he got the last bonus point. Bournemouth were terrible. In fact, the promoted sides this season look terrible this weekend. They looked horrible. They looked like they're going straight down. If you could just demote them now, I think that would save everybody a lot of trouble. They kept making mistakes. Bournemouth made mistakes. Luton made mistakes. Sheffield made mistakes as well. Just schoolboy stuff. Well, not schoolboy stuff, but for the level that they're at, they looked very amateur. Fulham 3, Sheffield 1. William was the best player on the pitch. You wouldn't know he's 34/35. That man was running everywhere. He was tireless. He was at the heart of everything good that he did. For a while, I thought it was going to be 0-0 until Fulham scored an unfortunate own goal. There were 2 own goals in this game. De Cordova-Reid scored the other goal for Fulham. Fotheringham scored the own goal for Sheffield. And Robinson scored the own goal for Fulham. William got the 3 points. De Cordova-Reid got 2. And Vinicius Souza got the last bonus point from Sheffield. Man United 2, Brentford 1. Up until the 90th minute, it looked like Man United had no answers. And then comes on McTominay, who scores 2 goals in 90 plus minutes to win the game for Manchester United 2-1 in Fergie time. I'm sure nobody had McTominay, so while talking about differentials, he would have been the biggest differential. So I'm happy nobody was punished by that. Bruno Fernandes and Rashford have 2 goals and 0 assists in the last 5 games between them. Rashford has now gotten nothing, and by that I mean a goal or assist, in the last 4 games. Mbeumo also has blanked in the last 4 games for Brentford. That is a sign that you should be looking to move off of Rashford, Fernandes, and Mbeumo. Well, Fernandes is better than them, but Jensen scores for Brentford. And we have McTominay with the 3 bonus points, Maguire with 1 bonus point, and Jensen with 2 bonus points. Crystal Palace 0, Nottingham Forest 0. These 2 teams were missing their top creative talents. Awoni out, Eze out, Olise out. If you had told me all of this before, I'd have told you this is going to be a draw. These 2 teams cannot create without their most creative players. A random fact. Crystal Palace have kept 4 clean sheets, which is more than any other team in the current campaign. So, you've been told. Johnstone is also the best keeper currently right now, thanks to the clean sheets. Gehi, Johnston, and Murillo got the points. Gehi 3, Johnston 2, Murillo 1. If you watch those highlights, Gibbs, White, and Murillo had great opportunities to score. Had they scored their chances, those would have easily been goal of the month 1 and 2, and I can't even tell you which one would have been better. So look for the highlights if you haven't seen them, and tell me if I'm wrong. Moving on to Brighton 2, Liverpool 2. Salah was the man of the match. He had 2 goals. He has now scored 5 goals and provided 4 assists so far this season. And if there was ever an argument for Salah, even though he needs no introduction to you all, this is it. People like Leon Mortier, very wise, captained him, and he was rewarded. I am just on the outside looking in, trying to figure out, how do I bring Salah into my team? His price is already going up, so it's going to be a mess. Brighton have conceded 16 goals in 8 matches. Stay away from their defense. Liverpool also are not keeping clean sheets. Estupiñán was the most transferred out player this weekend. He's injured for about a month. And so I used that opportunity to get him out of my team, and I'm sure many of you have. There's no other way to say this. Brighton are missing Caicedo. They're missing that strong, dominating performer in the midfield. They have new signings. I'm not sure if it's a time thing, but they're not quite there yet. It's something interesting to watch. Let's hope that they figure this thing out, because their current defensive woes have them in a worrying position. Only, I think, Bournemouth and Sheffield United have conceded more than them. And Burnley. That is not company you want to keep. Adingra and Dunk scored for Brighton, and there was an assist for March. Salah scored 2, and there was an assist for Darwin and Szoboszlai. It was a very entertaining game, and João Pedro could have won it at the end. So I'm sure if the people who are still holding him, they must have been cursing their luck. Moving on to Newcastle versus West Ham. For those of you who are still holding Isak, well done to you. He had 2 goals. And Trippier had an assist. I'm telling you guys, I'm sure some of you are thinking that, oh, I can replace Trippier's points with maybe Botman or Dunban or somebody else. You really can't. He's one of one. He is going to be the one having these assists. Speaking of assists, Kufal had an assist, and Emerson had an assist, the wing-backs for West Ham. Susek and Kudus scored. This season, it's clear that wing-backs are of immense value, especially when chosen well. Kufal has 3 assists in a row now. 3. I'm just saying that because you guys are sleeping on him. Having said that, he was on my bench, so I expected Newcastle to score. Isak was clinical and has now scored in 3 consecutive matches. Trippier provided an assist for the 3rd game running, just like Kufal. He has provided 5 assists in the last 3 matches and has picked up 8 out of 9 maximum bonus points. That's wild. Just for the proof that you can't replace him with another guy. It was a really good game. It could have gone either way. Isak had 3 bonus points, Trippier had 2, Kufal, Susek and Kudus had 1. Wolves versus Aston Villa. Hwang has now scored 5 of Wolves' 9 Premier goals this season. He has also either scored or assisted in 5 consecutive home matches for them. So, when they're playing at home, he's your guy. Neto has done the same in the last 6 matches, so instead of goals, it's assists. So those are the 2 people from Wolves. Don't even look anywhere else. Villa had chances in this game, and they failed to capitalize. A lot of people brought in Watkins and were hoping for another hat-trick, but it wasn't meant to be. Watkins had an assist though. Pau Torres scored. Neto had the assist for Hwang's goal, otherwise known as the Korean guy. The Korean guy got all the bonus points. Pau Torres got 2 and Martinez got 1. Arsenal versus Manchester City. If you listened to the preview show, I spoke about Arsenal really needing to win, and this was their best chance to win this game now that they were missing players. I also said that this was a psychological hurdle, and that this is a victory that they needed more than Manchester City. I'm very happy that Arsenal won this game for them and what it'll do for them mentally. Also, I'm really happy because it makes the league more open. Well, at least for now. Saliba was immense. You can see how their season crumbled last season when he went down with injury. Let me tell you a few stats. William Saliba has committed just 2 fouls in the 8 game weeks and has not been dribbled past even once. He has won 100% of the duels, and in this game, he completed 97% of his passes. Man City only managed 4 shots in the entire game. Haaland did not take one of those. This is the lowest number of attempts Man City have ever managed under Pep. Well done, Arsenal. That is a wonderful performance. Having said that, it was a shitty goal. But a win is a win, right? A win is a win. Martinelli came back from injury to score with an assist from Havertz, which was a deflection of Ake. Ben White had 3 bonus points. Gabriel had 2. Saliba had 1. Zinchenko had 1. It just goes to show how much work they did at the back. It was not an easy victory, nor was it straightforward. The average points for the game week was 44. I got 49, so I was just above average. Yes! And I'm hoping many of you were as well. It was a really tough game week. The highest points in fantasy overall were gained by a man by the name of Renas SMK. He had 120 points. That's impressive. He played a chip. He played the bench boost. He had Pickford, who had 9 at the bench, Udogie, who had 6, Fernandes, who had 2, Watkins had 5, Isak 13, Darwin 5, captain was Salah, he had Sterling, who had 16, Maddison, who had 6, Willian had 10, Pedro Porro had 6, Colwill had 2, Trippier had 6, Matty Cash had 2, and Leno had 2, and that gave him 120 points. Talk about a differential. The game week average was 44. He got triple that. That man has moved places. Looking at our league table, number 1, Why Are You Running? By Leon Mortier. He has opened a 22-point lead at the top. From 2, so well done. He has 520 points. Number 2 is Vic City by Vic Nyadi. He had 60 points, 498. Right behind him is Goodness Gracious Me by Sim Nanijua. He has 496 points. Number 4 is Mike Wow, 043 Boys, 47 points, 489 points. And number 5 is El Capitan, Dennis Kathika, 38 points. He has 480 points. So, between number 6, who is Mr. Mutune, who has 478 points, and number 2 is just 20 points. And from there, it's 22 points to number 1. Leon Mortier was also the highest in our group, with 72 points. Followed by Washira Gitahi, number 21, with 64 points. He's doing well now. He's catching up to the bottom of the pack, even though he is at the bottom. So, number 21 is Washira with 64. He has 357 points. Number 20 is He Sleeps Through Storms, Thagana Gatheru, who has 43 points, 366. Tim Kubwa has taken a leap. He has 63 points and has 369. From there, it's 30 points to number 18, who is Melvin Kathrima, who has 399. And number 17 is Al-Shabaab Jeremiah Obiri, who has 401 points. So the bottom 3 are trying to catch up, but they still have some way to go. But they're pulling up their socks Well done, guys. There is still time left. Just keep taking it 1 week at a time, and you will get out of there soon. Looking at the top 10, only 2 fools, and I'm one of them, captained Haaland. The rest had either Son, who did better than Haaland, and most of them had Salah or Maddison. Also, P. Dennis 11 was the second highest tally in our group, sorry. He had 65 points, which is higher than 64, which I previously mentioned. There is no football this weekend. It's the international break. And so, until the 21st of October, there will be no Premier League games. I'm going to schedule an interview with our group leader and our high points tally leader, the same man, Leon Mortier. I hope you will stay to listen to that when it comes out. I will also do a preview show closer to the date. Outside that, I hope you have a great week. I hope you are all well. Take care. I will talk to you all soon.